Welcome. I'm Ava, and this is WNBA Trending. Tonight's headline: the WNBA no longer needs Caitlin Clark, the statistics that leave the Indiana Fever star in the background. Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA as one of the most talked-about rookies in basketball history. She was the #1 overall pick in 2024, the face of the Indiana Fever, and the player many believed would transform the league. Her college career at Iowa was historic, her scoring records unmatched, and her transition to the pros was expected to be seamless. Yet, less than 2 seasons later, the conversation has shifted. The question now being asked by analysts and fans alike: has the WNBA and the Indiana Fever evolved to a point where they no longer need Caitlin Clark to succeed? Let's start with the numbers. Clark's shooting efficiency has taken a noticeable dip. In her rookie season, she shot around 34% from the three-point line. This season, that number has fallen to just under 32%. While that might not sound dramatic, it's a critical drop for a player whose game is built on deep-range shooting. There have been stretches where she's gone ice cold, including one streak where she missed 16 of her last 17 shots from beyond the arc. For a player once known for logo threes and effortless scoring, that decline has raised real concerns. Turnovers have also been a major issue. During her rookie campaign, Clark set a WNBA record for the most turnovers by a first-year player, over 200 in total. This year, that trend has continued. In multiple games, she's had 7 or 8 turnovers, often outweighing her assists. The risk-taking that made her a playmaking sensation in college has sometimes become a liability in the pros. Another factor complicating Clark's trajectory is her health. A series of lower body injuries, first a quad strain, then a groin issue, have kept her sidelined for extended stretches in 2025. The Fever's record during those absences has surprised many. While the team struggled initially, they eventually found rhythm with other players stepping up. Aaliyah Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Nalissa Smith have all elevated their roles, rediscovering a sense of balance in the lineup. Team chemistry without Clark has shown that Indiana can survive, and sometimes thrive, even when their superstar is off the court. Analysts have noted that the Fever's offensive flow has looked smoother at times, without the pressure to funnel everything through Clark. When she's on the floor, the offense often slows down, with defenders collapsing on her, forcing difficult shots or contested passes. Without her, the ball movement has been quicker, the spacing better, and multiple players have been involved in scoring. That shift has led some insiders to suggest that the Indiana Fever are quietly learning how to play, without Caitlin Clark being the centerpiece of every possession. Head coach Stephanie White recently emphasized the importance of building an offense that doesn't rely solely on one player. She noted that the team is more dangerous when everyone is engaged, a message that subtly hints at a strategic evolution beyond the Clark-centric game plan. Beyond the Fever, the league itself has also begun to adjust. Early in her career, Clark's presence was viewed as a major boost for the WNBA's popularity. She brought record-breaking attendance, unprecedented television ratings, and massive social media buzz. Networks that had previously overlooked the league began airing more games, merchandise sales skyrocketed, and sponsorship deals flooded in. But the WNBA's success story in 2025 shows something new: growth across multiple teams, not just one star. Players like Aya Wilson, Brianna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, and Nafisa Collier have continued to shine, while rookies and young stars have emerged as fresh faces of the league. In other words, the WNBA's attention is no longer centered entirely on Caitlin Clark. The novelty has worn off, and what remains is the demand for consistent performance. That's not to say Clark's influence is gone. Far from it. She remains a fan favorite, a marketing icon, and one of the most watched athletes in women's sports. But her on-court numbers tell a different story. Through the midpoint of the 2025 season, she's averaging around 15 points, 6 assists, and 4 rebounds per game, solid but not elite. Her shooting percentage hovers below 40% overall, and her turnover-to-assist ratio remains negative in several key matchups. Some experts argue that the decline isn't purely about Clark's talent, but rather the adjustment curve of playing against professional defenses. In college, her range and creativity overwhelmed opponents. In the WNBA, defenders are faster, stronger, and better prepared. They've studied her tendencies, learned how to trap her on the perimeter, and force her into low-percentage shots. The larger question becomes, how does Caitlin Clark evolve from here? Great players in every era have faced moments of adaptation, times when their natural gifts weren't enough, and they had to reshape their approach. For Clark, that might mean reducing the reliance on deep threes, focusing on higher percentage looks, and committing to more consistent defense. But even if she adjusts, the message from the numbers is clear. The Fever and the WNBA no longer depend entirely on her presence. The team has developed other offensive leaders. The league has diversified its storylines. Ratings remain high even when she's out injured. Merchandise for other teams is selling in record numbers. The Clark effect helped elevate the league, but it's no longer the sole driver of success. It's a natural evolution. In every sport, initial hype eventually meets the reality of performance. Caitlin Clark remains a generational talent, but the league is showing that it can sustain momentum with or without her dominating the headlines. That's a sign of maturity for both the Fever and the WNBA. Still, there's an emotional layer to this story. Fans who followed her journey from Iowa to Indiana expected a fairy tale, one where Clark would instantly lift her team to playoff contention and perhaps a championship. The reality has been more complex. Basketball is a team sport, and no single player, no matter how gifted, can carry a franchise alone. Clark's legacy is still being written. She's only in her second season, and the potential for a resurgence is high. A few breakout games, a hot shooting stretch, or a deep playoff run could change the entire narrative overnight. But as of now, the data and performance trends suggest a shift from reliance to redefinition. The WNBA no longer needs Caitlin Clark in the way it once did. It wants her, celebrates her, and continues to benefit from her popularity, but the league's strength is now rooted in collective competition, not individual stardom. That's a win for women's basketball and a challenge for Clark to rise again. This is WNBA Trending. I'm Ava, and this has been your latest update on the evolving story of Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever, and the league that continues to grow beyond one superstar. Stay tuned for more WNBA coverage, highlights, and analysis right here on WNBA Trending.